Hi guys, here we are going to discuss different phases in the cardiac cycle. We have four phases: ventricular filling phase, ventricular systole phase, systole or systole, whatever you guys are able to pronounce, and the isovolumetric contraction and isovolumetric relaxation. These four phases are very important in the cardiac cycle. First of all, we'll discuss these two in details, and then we are going to discuss these two because these two are very important to understand the cardiac physiology. Right, as you all know by the name, we have ventricular filling. Ventricular filling. Filling means in ventricular filling phase, there is the filling of the heart takes place, right? Of both sides. We're not talking about only a right or the left side. Filling is take place simultaneously in both the compartments, in the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart. And same happens with the ventricular systole phase, means pump out. Pumping of the heart is take place on both sides of the heart. On the right side, the heart is pumped from to the lungs for oxygenation. In the left side, the heart is pumped from via the aorta to the circulation, right? So here is the you have guys have seen I have drawn this one broadly, and this one is my shrinkage, right? Whenever there is filling of the blood takes place, the heart is in this relaxed state, right? And whenever there is a pumping, or the heart is in a contract state, when there is a contraction, there is an increased pressure buildup within the heart, right? This is the filling phase and the pumped out phase. Let's discuss these two in detail here. Okay, we are going to discuss these two in detail. Let me set my camera. Sorry for the delay. Right, here it goes. I don't know, it's not getting fit. Let me remove this one. Okay, in ventricular filling phase, I have to draw it here again. It is a very broad and it is the shrinked one, right? It is the shrink one and it is the broad one, right? Here, what happens in the ventricular filling phase, filling is take place in the right side and as well as in the left side of the heart. Both sides, filling is taking place, right? Here, the oxygenated blood, right, coming from the lung, oxygenated blood come from lung to left atria. From atria, it is going to ventricle, and ventricle, it is going to aorta, and then to a different part of the body. Number one thing is going like this. This is how the left side is filling, right? We fill the left side. The blood, this is the lung, and from lung it is coming here, right? Number one. Number two, deoxygenated blood. Here, the deoxygenated blood from the vena cava, both the superior and inferior vena cava, coming to the right atrium. From right atrium to the right ventricle, and via the pulmonary artery, it is going to the lungs, right? To the lungs. So both sides of the heart are in the filling state, and this is here where the vena cava, right? This is the filling stage, right? In ventricular filling, filling of both sides is taking place. It is moving out via the aorta. We all know in the previous slides, right? This. Now here we have tricuspid valves, and here we have bicuspid valves that allow the flow of blood into the ventricle, right? Now it is very important to know that when these valves are open and when these valves are closed, AV valve, atrioventricular valve, these both valves are open of both the sides during the ventricular filling, because they allow the passage of blood via the atrium into the ventricle for the passing out of blood via the aorta and the pulmonary artery into the different lungs, right? AV valve is open and semilunar valve is closed, right? Remember these things. The very minor details. While the semilunar valve is open at the high pressure and closed at the low pressure, right? It is closed at low pressure and open at high pressure. Here is in the filling stage. We have drawn this heart is drawn a bit broadly and this is a bit shrink. In broad means the heart is in relaxed state. So when the heart is in relaxed state, SL valve will be closed because this valve is open only during the increased pressure state. So there is not increased pressure, so it is closed, right? So this stage of the this cardiac cycle phase is also known as end diastolic volume. End diastolic volume, right, or in diastolic stage. It is according to 120 milliliter. So as you guys have understand this aortic phase in detail, you will going to remember or understand the ventricular systolic phase very easily. It is very easy, right? Now look, here it is the contraction is going to happen, right? This is contracted heart will tell you this is relaxed heart, filling is take place. Contracted heart will let you know that we are going to push the blood out of the heart to different part of the body, right? Here is just filling is taking place, right? Now we'll talk about the pumping out. Blood from here, blood is getting pumped out. Pressure builds in the left ventricle to the point where the blood ejected out, right? We are the SL valves to the aorta. Now what happens? Oxygenated blood from the left ventricle pumped out via aorta through which valve? Semilunar valves, right? Oxygenated blood, here the oxygenated blood is pumped out. The pressure is built up in the left ventricle to the point that it allows the SL valve to open and it pumps the blood out of the heart via aorta. This is aorta that help in systemic circulation, right? Now the oxygenated blood out to the system via the aorta. Now ventricular ejection to the pulmonary valve also takes place. Lungs from the right ventricle. Here the ejection takes from lung to the right ventricle. Here, right? Ventricular ejection from pulmonary valve. This is pulmonary are taking out the blood. Here the filling is taking place. It is allowing the blood to come in. In the second phase, systolic phase, contraction phase, the blood is pumped out. It is pumped from right, it is pumped out to the lungs, and from left it is pumped out to the systemic circulation via the aortic valve. And it now what is the what about the valves? As we have studied here, that semilunar valve will be open because there is increased pressure, right? And AV valve will be automatically closed because the heart is no more going to accept the blood. It is going to push the blood out. It is closed. Now remember what is we're going to find this thing while doing your cardiac physiology. What is the stroke volume? It is whatever pumped out during the contraction phase, systolic phase is stroke volume. Whatever pumped out is a stroke volume, right? This is this end diastolic volume is 120. In this end diastolic volume is equal to 50 ml, right? Whatever left over is the end diastolic volume. What is end diastolic volume? Whatever left over, right? In this there is a filling phase 120 ml, it is ejection phase is only 50 ml, right? This is all for the ventricular filling and ventricular systole. I hope you guys understand it in detail. Now go for isovolumetric contraction and isovolumetric relaxation phase. Remove this one. Right, isovolumetric contraction. In isovolumetric contraction, we will talk about AV valve, atrioventricular valve, and the pulmonary valve, right? These both are closed, right? And to the closure we have LUB sound, that is S1 sound. While in relaxation, this is isovolumetric. It means the volume is going to be same. Both valves are closed. isovolume. Volume is not going to change. So by this term, remember that the valves are closed in this phase of the cardiac cycle, and we have S2 sound, that is the dub sound. All valves are closed. Pressure is too high for AV valve to open. Too high for AV valve open, but too low to keep SL valve open. Right? SL valve have to be open when there is an increased pressure, but that pressure is not that much to causes the SL valve to open. So we have closed valves in the isovolumetric contraction and relaxation phase. Its name or determined isovolumetric. Volume is not going to change. This is all for the 4 phases of heart. Ventricular filling phase. In this phase, I'll give you a quick review. This is the right, this is the left. This is the left, this is the right. In this, only the filling take place. Superior vena cava and from the lungs, right, filling take place. This is the tricuspid valve, and this is the bicuspid valve. And in the systolic phase, the contraction take place. Contraction takes place from left ventricle to the aorta. This is left, and from right, from pulmonary artery to the lungs. This is the oxygenated one, and this is the deoxygenated. These two processes are going out simultaneously. In isovolumetric contraction relaxation, there is no change in the volume, so both the valves are closed, and we have sounds here. S1 sound that is produced in the contraction phase, and S2 sound that is produced in the relaxation phase. This is all for the volumes.